Hi everyone, it's Tori from the KirkToriStory, where we sold our house in Canada so that we could travel the world by cruise ship. Our intention is that we could see the world and report to our followers about the great itineraries and different ships that are available to travel the world. So today we will be talking about our experience on the Costa Smeralda, where we boarded it in mid-October 2023 in Barcelona. We will briefly cover what we loved and what we didn't love, and to get more specifics in some of our videos found on our YouTube channel. So please, if you haven't already done so, if you could subscribe to Kirk Tory Story on YouTube, that'd be great. So, boarding the Costa Smeralda. We spent the previous night in Barcelona in a hotel called Hotel Jazz. The hotel is in the Gothic district and is a half-hour walk to the cruise pier. And on the embarkation day for our trip on the Costa Smeralda, we accidentally slept in, so it became a no-brainer to take a taxi directly to the Costa Cruise Terminal, which cost us 21 euros or equivalent to $32 Canadian. The check-in was unbelievably fast, and it was probably due to Costa sending us instructions through email about 10 days prior. So you have to fill out everything online 10 days before you board. That includes your passport information, all of that, and you have to bring it with you on a printed copy. Just keep in mind it has to be on printed paperwork or they will actually deny your boarding. Once they verified that all of our paperwork was filled out correctly, they issued us an embarkation paper and our Costa card. And a big hint is that you should buy a lanyard with a clear pouch, something like this, because if you punch a hole in your card, then the card apparently won't work. So basically, in less than 5 minutes, we were processed and boarding the ship looking for our balcony, which was Stateroom 14205. So, the Costa Smeralda stateroom. The stateroom was actually a decent size overall. It had a queen-size bed, two super small end tables on either side of the bed, a small desk with a chair, table and mirror, a TV, a lamp, and a huge chaise lounge that really served no purpose other than for us to gather our towel animals and lay out our clothes that we were planning to change into. I think that the bed was really hard and uncomfortable, and the comforter was too heavy also for the season, so it caused us to sweat all night and always crank the air conditioning. But for the most part, the rooms are pretty soundproofed, and the balcony is soundproofed when it's completely shut, so you wouldn't be able to hear outside at all. The bathroom, that was a good size and it was well lit. There were a couple of weird things, such as the curtain. It could be open from the middle of the stateroom side. So if you were taking a shower, somebody could open the curtain and just watch you shower or go to the bathroom. So that was kind of weird. And the other thing was that the room didn't offer any shampoo or conditioner or lotion like other cruise lines would. Other than that, there was enough space in the bathroom to move and not feel claustrophobic. So the balcony, our stateroom was pretty standard except for the size of the balcony. Our room was located in the center of the ship, but there was a special angle where we ended up with an ultra large balcony. It was at least 16 feet deep, and you could see the ocean from all angles depending on where you were standing on the balcony. So pros, one of the benefits of having such a large balcony is that we had so much extra space. We had a large covered area where we had two chairs, a chaise lounge, and a small table. When there were fewer people on the ship, it was really quite nice, a great place to hang out, but that was not very often on that ship. So because our balcony was so large, we jutted out really far, so we could pretty much see every single room and all of the people facing out toward the ocean. So I also imagine that we were pretty much on display for everybody to see as well. Another thing is that the Costa ship does allow smoking on balconies, so we could always see and smell people smoking, and sometimes it would get a little overwhelming. The Costa balcony is constructed in a way that all kinds of sound gathered within the walls of the balcony, so you could hear all sorts of conversations from actually the entire side of the ship. So, other observations of the Costa Smeralda. So, overall, there were really good moments, and then there were also really frustrating moments on the Costa Smeralda. So please keep in mind that these are only our opinions, and also it is our opinion of coming from a primarily North American ship experience. So number one, the Costa Smeralda is a really good ship geared toward families of all ages. There were more kids and babies than we have ever experienced on any ship, ever. The ship has a ton of activities, menus, clubs geared specifically to them, which of course encourages more families to come onto the ship. It's a definite pro for families, but it's also a con because there are a lot of screaming kids and crying, and basically lasted day and night, all through the night too. There were also a lot of adult activities. The ship is really amazing for its entertainment, and there are activities which are specifically labeled for adults only. Water. It's really difficult to get water on that ship. We even had a water plan that was only good for getting a glass of water during dinner. It was next to impossible to get water any other time, so we ended up purchasing water off the ship so we could have the amount of water that we are accustomed to drink while on a ship. Coffee, that was also next to impossible to get unless you were going for breakfast or if you showed up specifically for coffee time in the afternoon. Otherwise, it's just not available for free. One big difference between a lot of the ships that we've been on and the Costa Smeralda is that they have people embarking and disembarking at every single port. So the rotation of passengers is always different. The ship is pretty huge. It's new and it's stable. It holds over 6,500 passengers and 1,600 crew. And for the most part, we didn't feel any motion at all on the ship. The Costa Smeralda also has a very choppy layout that makes it feel small, even though the ship is really huge. In addition to this, the layout of each of the venues is pretty terrible. The sight lines in the theater are bad. You have to walk through venues such as the dinner restaurant to get to a bar activity. So it's just like a really weird layout. And the prices of onboard clothing, tours, and all of that, they're reasonably priced. For example, you could purchase a nice ladies sweater for less than €10. We also purchased a couple of reasonably priced tours and a couple of bottles of wine while on the ship. Also, many of the staff speak multiple languages, and it doesn't matter if you speak somebody in the entertainment staff or the restaurant staff or the room stewards. Basically, everybody speaks more than one language. In fact, every single thing that happens on that ship is translated into 5 languages: English, Italian, French, German, and Spanish. So the entertainment on the Costa Smeralda is probably one of the most amazing parts of this entire ship experience. We love the entertainment. There is so much to do, and the level of professionalism in all the shows was just incredible. The only real unfortunate part of the entertainment was the venues themselves. There were just a handful of actual good seats in each venue, and you had to get to any of those venues super early if you planned on having a seat where you could see anything. So daytime activities included trivia, music quizzes, dance lessons, games, tournaments, creative classes, exercise, food tasting, coffee time, bingo, just to name a few. So we participated in a team game of random trivia with 3 other English speakers. So teams with that game were divided into languages, and we won. And all of us received a prize of collecting a crepe from the specialty crepe restaurant to redeem anytime during our cruise. And each of these crepes was valued at 6 or more euro. So the prize that they handed us was super generous compared to other cruise lines. And the evening shows on the ship was nothing short of spectacular. The dancing troupe had a special theme-based show every single night, and the other theater had acrobats and a handful of different shows. It was amazing. On top of this, there were specialty performers that had amazing shows. The entertainment team had their own shows too. There were also shows and entertainment that featured passengers, such as The Voice of the Sea, Deal or No Deal, and Bingo. The music, the sets, the shows, the costume changes, the energy in every single performance was unlike anything we've ever experienced. And as a former head of performing arts in Toronto, Canada, I can undeniably say that every show was absolutely incredible and top-notch. That brings me to the parties on Costa Smeralda. Every day there was a different theme on the ship. Therefore, there was always a posted suggestion of what to wear so that you could really immerse yourself into the experience. So some of the themes included Be Italian, 70s nights, elegant night, rock night. You get the idea. And at night, the club would open, and the theme would also correspond with the kind of music and the kind of vibe that you would get. So we experienced the silent party, where you wore headphones and chose the DJ you wanted to listen to. The Italian night, where we danced all night to the most popular Italian music, and disco. There was so much energy in all of the clubs, and the entertainment staff was appropriately dressed in the theme, and they encouraged everybody to have a great time. So now we're going to talk about the vegan food on the Costa Smeralda. So the Costa Smeralda has a dedicated vegan menu, which changed every day. They actually had the same menu for lunch and dinner for the same day, but there were enough choices on the menu to try different things. And both Kirk and I tried to try as much as we could. So the food was really great. The portion sizes were perfect, and nothing was coated in oil and not too much salt either. You could order as much off the menu that you wanted. So we sampled all kinds of different foods and hope that you would take a minute to look at some of the pictures of the food that we ate while on the ship. And you can see that in another YouTube video that I've recorded. So I have some tips, Tori's tips regarding the Costa Smeralda if you ever decide to embark on this ship. So number 1 is the Costa Club card. That's a free club card that you just sign up for. And once you're a Costa Club member, you will save all kinds of money on different things. So for example, we purchased a 3.5-hour ship tour that went from 59 euro each to 44 euro each with our Costa Club card. The club card will also save you on select bottles of wine, and it gives you 10% off your next cruise booking with Costa. And Costa also falls under the umbrella of Carnival Corporation. So if you book a ship on the Costa cruise, you can get your shareholders perk as long as you own your 100 shares with CCL. The internet is also pretty expensive, so you can use the Wi-Fi in most ports, and we only had 1 sea day, and we survived without purchasing the internet. In fact, if we just used our own internet from Canada at the offered daily rate, it would have been less expensive than the Costa package. And number 4, if you want to see a show, make sure that you get to the show early to select your seat. In summary, There's so much I can say about the Costa Smeralda, but I want to leave some element of surprise for you when you decide to book your own trip on the Costa Smeralda. Overall, for the price that we paid, and we paid less than $2,000 US total for the two of us for 8 days, we feel like we really got our money's worth from the food, the entertainment, and the room that we were assigned. The biggest downfalls for us were the huge crowds, the almost constant screaming and crying from the large number of babies and infants on the ship, and the lack of ease of getting water and coffee. I hope you enjoyed this summary of our experience, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to KirkToriStory on YouTube. Thanks for watching.